Okay guys, this is just going to be my first thoughts on the first season of Andor on Disney Plus. I just watched the first 3 episodes. I am very impressed. I know that other people are going to say that there are some really good acting performances and things like that, and the graphics and the storyline and everything, but honestly, I just think that the soundtrack, that the scoring for the entire thing is just perfect, and just huge ups to whoever did that. Let's look up who did that real quick. Hold on one second. This episode was Brandon Roberts. So the scoring by Brandon Roberts was absolutely amazing. I knew that the whole time, everyone. You know that I knew that the whole time. Stop hating. Also, I want to say that Star Wars, since it's been bought by Disney, has not gotten everything right. I think we can all agree on that. There has been ups and downs. There has been the lows of Solo, a Star Wars story, and the highs of Rogue One, you know what I mean? So I'm not even going to talk about their trilogy, but I'm just going to say that there has definitely been ups and downs. We can all agree on that, right? We're all good with agreeing on that. I'm just gonna say that Andor is a high. Another thing that I think that they've done just absolutely amazing is the Star Wars intros. The Star Wars intros for just about anything, and how they play on the masks and everything like that, and on the faces. I'm not gonna lie, I really dig it. Whenever you see this first thing, really just gets me in the mood to watch Star Wars, and I just think Star Wars does that really good. And the intros to the actual shows. So Andor's intro is this planet, and it really gives like a Raised by Wolves on Max thing, which is also really weird that Max is now bundled with Disney. That's not a plug. I am definitely not affiliated in any way whatsoever, but I just want to say that that does seem like a pretty good deal. And I'll be honest, I didn't really see that coming. Anyways, this season is really tapping into the fact that all of these people have to play double lives, and it's a lot for them, and they're constantly worried about being found out. Cassian, Bix, and the team are constantly worried about getting caught in these fields, and they're literally on like the most remote backwoods place ever, but even there they're not safe, because eventually the Empire will come around. That's just how they exert their control over everything. Eventually they do definitely get caught. Spoilers, you know, I put spoilers in the title. You knew that we were going to talk about real things. And Mon is literally blackmailed by Tay, who we thought was cool, and it turns out that he is a scumbag. He is a real slimo, a real nerf herder, whatever other Star Wars insult that you can think of. He's one of those, and I like Tay. And I just want you to know, Tay, that you let me down, and I'm just not gonna forget it. I'm not gonna forget it. And you with your goddamn Mike Pence looking ass, I'm not done. And you know what? We're gonna move on, because I could go on for a while about you, Tay. And then Daedra, I'm not saying that hers is as crazy as everyone else's, but she is at home starting this nice life with Cyril, but then at work she's literally planning the death or the forceful removal of 800,000 people. So I mean, I'm just gonna throw it out there that that is not cool, right? I mean, we gotta throw out there that that's not cool. Let's talk about this meeting in episode 1. Isn't it crazy to think that these kind of meetings definitely happen in the real world? In our world, it's definitely like businessmen or government officials, and I guess that that's what this is too, but these people are talking about what can they do to exert control and basically go through and destroy an entire culture that is thriving, by the way. It's not like they're going through to a place that doesn't have any money or anything like that. This is a nice place that you would like to visit. It might be like the Omaha, Nebraska of the galaxy, but it's still, there's nothing wrong with Omaha in the grand scheme of things. It's just that all you're gonna get from Omaha is Omaha, you know? So just think about how evil that is, that they're trying to get this cow kite from planet Gorman, who has 40 billion spiders that spin this web that they turn into the fabric. I mean, it just seems like a cool place. But this meeting seems like that documentary on Netflix, Hitler's Evil Circle, and these guys are literally like Nazis, like literal Nazis. I mean, they are talking about the final solution. This meeting is not for plan A. This meeting is for plan B, or maybe even like plan K or plan F, for, you know, final solution. Again, tying it back to the Nazis. I'm just saying, this is the meeting of the SS of the Empire. And, I'm not trying to, actually, you know what? I'm not apologizing for calling them Nazis. Nazis are bad people, and I think that we should all just, as a collective, just, agree that Nazis are not good. But either way, I'm not trying to get into a political conversation about what's happening in America right now. We're talking about Star Wars. The other big thing is that I really love how the first episode especially shows the back and forth between the competency levels of the Empire and the Rebellion. Whenever Cassian lands, he lands with this group of rebels. They're technically on his side and they're worried about getting caught, just like he's worried about getting caught, but they're all noobs. They are not ready for this in any way whatsoever, and it is not like the best, situation for Cass either, because they don't have a leader. They don't know what's going on. Their leader is gone, so they just do not know what to do at all. They're basically just like running around like what happens whenever the teacher leaves to go to the bathroom and all that's left are the students in the 5th grade class. It's really, really bad. Another thing though is that whenever they institute all these characters, I just can't help but feel that like Andor is so different because they're so good at building characters so fast. I immediately figure out who all of these people are. And yes, in this scene, they are 100% one-dimensional characters. Just one kind of trait about them, but I immediately get it. This guy's over-aggressive. This guy isn't aggressive enough. This guy is kind of dumb. This lady is kind of mean. I kind of like get it all, and it also makes sense why they divide in the way that they divide. And of course, Cassian is just sitting there and he's just like, oh, I'm gonna play all of y'all. I'm just waiting for my moment. I just feel that the show is so good at conveying all of these feelings so quickly. And of course, we kind of already talked about it. And again, spoiler warning, Tay, the banker that helped Mon figure out her money problems in season 1, is now shaking her down for money. And he is the scummiest of scummy in the entire thing. I thought that it was like an evil thing, but now he's drunk, his wife's left him, he's losing all of his money, so he is really just spiraling. Luthen, who just so happens to be at Mon's daughter's wedding, the way that Mon kind of sold her daughter off to fix the monetary problem so that she doesn't get caught. Luthen is there as his alter ego, this antiquities dealer, right? And he is just doing his spy thing. He almost seems like he can't turn it off, so he's constantly watching, he's constantly picking up on things, and he sees that something is going on between Tay and Mon. And of course, Tay is blackmailing her, so he is 100% right. So he goes to her and he's just like, hey, look, we're gonna handle some business. She can't even understand that, which he is kind of amazed by, and he also, again, is reminded by his loss of humanity, which if you haven't seen that scene, I don't know why you're watching this, you should go back and watch season 1, because we're on season 2 and we're breaking it down. But anyways, I'm not trying to get into what you do, that is your journey. All right. And speaking of scummy people, Cyril's mom might be tied with Tay. She's a different level. She is just trying to either control her son. She's made Cyril the way that he is. She just constantly puts him down with backhanded statements and comments and everything like that. Nothing is ever good enough. And she's just worships this guy named Uncle Harlow, who is a criminal. So now I mentioned earlier that Dedra Meero and Cyril are in a relationship. Remember they kissed in the last episode of season 1? So they're dating now and they live together, and they've put off meeting the mother for a long time. And Dedra immediately understands why. It's not confusing. The mother is a force of just pure annoyance. And the actress that plays her is very, very good at this. Almost too good. I'm not gonna lie. It's one of those things that it's like, hey, you're playing this so well that I kind of believe you might be at least slightly like this in real life. And that's fine. That happens with a lot of actors, you know what I mean? That happens a lot, and I'm not trying to say anything about you, but if I met you, I would be very worried that you're gonna like put me down because my shoelace is slightly untied or something, you know what I mean? So, the last thing I'll say about it is that it's truly cringe-inducing. It's very tough to watch, and whenever they have a dinner, Dedra is the only person that I think in the entire world that is tough enough to not back down to this woman. I mean, this woman is only like 4'10", but she is a force of just pure hatred. So that being said, it's kind of like when an unstoppable force meets an unmovable object, and I'm just gonna see who wins later on. But again, like I said, the soundtrack is amazing, and I think whenever Cyril and Deidre are getting ready in episode 3 is really just like the best soundtrack imaginable. The score sounds futuristic and something from the past at the same time. It sounds like Star Wars, but then it also sounds like Star Trek, and it's just perfect. And I'm not gonna lie, I am a big fan of the scoring. And if you haven't noticed, I'm also a big fan of the show. I'm gonna recommend that everybody watches it. Don't watch it with your kids. It's not one of those for your kids. There is a pretty, you know, not safe for work scene where a guy I'm calling Officer Horny. I saved this for the end because it is a little bit tough. There's a guy named Officer Horny. That's not his real name, but I'm gonna call him that, and I hope it catches on. So if you see this and you want to call him Officer Horny, you can call him Officer Horny. He won't mind. He tries to Bix, and it doesn't work out well for him. He takes like a pipe to the head or like a wrench to the head, and good. I think he deserved that 100%, but I'm just saying that's never happened in Star Wars before. That is new for Star Wars, and it is upping the stakes of Star Wars. Now you realize what could happen. And also, poor Bix. I mean, she was tortured with the sounds of dying baby aliens. I don't know exactly how that works, but it doesn't sound fun, right? And now an Imperial officer, again, Officer Horny, comes in, does this really creepy monologue, offers her, you know, safety from this audit and not have to go to jail for, you know, that booty. And it is not good whenever she says no. It's almost like he actually liked it better that way. So I'm just saying he's not a good guy. Anyways, there's gonna be a full breakdown the way I normally break it down tomorrow, but I just want to get this out first thing so that we can talk about it. Let's comment below and let's figure out what's gonna happen next. I'm gonna start throwing out my theories like I always do. You guys, I'm back. We're gonna be doing this. Let's do it every single Tuesday until Andor is over, but you know, until then, like, comment, subscribe, and then we'll find another show once that's over. But yeah, I will see you next time. Hey, thanks for watching. Click here for more videos and subscribe to keep up with all the Blake's World updates. I'd appreciate it. All right, I'll see you next time.